contributor Leo Terrell. Great to see everybody. Boy, I tell you, Leo, it got heated with Senator Kennedy last hour. I mean, we had a real conversation about race, and I wonder if Democrats and the president and others are really listening and watching what's being said. They are dropping that R word, well, like it's candy.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Harris. And hi, Kayleigh. Glad you're a member of the team of Outnumber. I feel very intimidated here because this is a Super 8 team right here. But Harris, I saw your interview. I saw your interview with Senator Kennedy. And I'll tell you right now, he's spot on. Let me be clear. I have spent 30 years of my life as a civil rights attorney. There is no systemic discrimination. There is no institutionalized racism in America. Jim Crow ended with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Civil Rights Act of 1965. Joe Biden is lying from the Oval Office. That's why he is constantly lying about this and is hurting people. Race is an issue that divides this country. And Harris, I've been saying this all for the last couple of weeks. Why is he doing this? And I think it's to not only divide this country, but to distract this country from the disaster at the border, and also how he and the other Democrats are trying to bankrupt this country by spending more tax dollars, because there is no racism, systemic, institutionalized, Jim Crow at all. One final point. You have a black mayor. You got numerous. Look at this panel right here. Look at this panel. We have diversity in this country. Jim Crow died in 1964.
You know, it's interesting because I don't know if Joe Biden necessarily knows the difference. Whew, I'm going to take some heat for that. But let me just remind you, this was a man, when asked the question about voting, if you're black and you don't vote for me, you're not black. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. I mean, I don't know that he necessarily has drilled down on the election law in Georgia and figured out exactly what it says, and then gone back and looked at Jim Crow laws, figured out exactly what they said, and said, well, wait a minute, I don't need to convert or put these two pieces together. They don't go together. I'm not convinced he knows the difference. He's welcome to come on the program, and we can ask him about it. Kayleigh.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He also praised a segregationist as his mentor, so he has a rather checkered past when it comes to the issues of race. And it is a pernicious lie for him to say that this Georgia law is Jim Crow on steroids. This is quantifiable, Harris. Let's look at voter ID for a moment. In 2005, Georgia required voter ID to vote in person. In 2008, the Supreme Court upheld some of these voter ID laws in Indiana. John Paul Stevens was among the justices who joined the opinion. So they weren't upholding Jim Crow, they were upholding voter ID. And when they looked at the 5-year period after the Georgia voting ID requirement went into law, guess what they saw? Hispanic turnout increased by 60%, black turnout increased by 44%. There is no tie to voter ID. It's common sense, which is why 73% of black Americans support the provision.
You know, Tommy, it boggles the mind still. Like when I